Hello there, and welcome to Lunch for the Soul. I'm Melissa Wilson in the Fox 26 busy newsroom. So, hopefully, you'll never know what you're going to see happening behind me. But I'm so happy you're here today. I have an amazing guest to introduce you to. If you're ready to feel inspired, then you need to stick around and listen to this conversation because that's what's going to happen. I'm going to bring in Matthew Kenslow. Hello, welcome to Lunch for the Soul.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You know what I'm going to call you? Unstoppable in honor of your book because I really feel like that's what you are. So I'm really happy to welcome you here today. Can you tell me and tell everybody where your book Unstoppable came from? What inspired you to write it and what it means to you?
Yeah, yeah. Toward the end of my student teaching in 2022, I was reflecting on my journey through student teaching, and I also became a substitute teacher. And I thought that my story would be encouraging, especially for those who have autism or disability. That if I could do what I'm passionate to do, then so can anybody.
And I think that's so important for every one of us to remember. So when were you diagnosed and put on the autism spectrum?
I was diagnosed when I was 6 years old, circa 2001.
And you ended up facing discrimination you feel like throughout your life?
Yeah, I've had my share of being teased for having autism. Like a couple people name called me, threw a handball at my face. And when I got older, the amount of teasing went down, but I still faced some discrimination I felt for having autism. People laughing at me or staring at me, but I just continued on, and I chose to forgive.
Well, you're such a strong young man. In fact, you have more than 1 million followers on social media. So I know that you're this positive influence that you've really touched a whole lot of lives. And I love the fact that you say, you know what? Yeah, people have hurt me through the years, but I choose to forgive them. When did that emotion come into your life when you realized I would feel like it almost sets you free, right? To say, I forgive all of you for anything that you've done.
Yeah, I don't condone what they do, but I believe in fighting back with kindness, like kindness and just praying for people. And whether they receive it immediately or not, I just believe that it's key and it does help me not hold a lot of things inside. So that's the philosophy that I believe.
Yeah, well, and it's something that all of us can remember, right? I feel like that can make such a big difference in our life to have that faith and forgiveness can really lead us a long way. You've been successful in your own right, besides being an author. I want to get more into your book in a little while, but let's talk about this. So, this is sort of like an Eagle Scout, right? Tell me about this.
Yeah, this is through the Royal Ranger program, which is kind of a bit like Boy Scouts, but it's through a ministry. And it teaches you leadership skills and survival skills. And it really gave me a chance in life. And it was a mentorship. And then I came back as commander and I started to teach boys and teenagers these skills. And it was just a wonderful experience.
That is incredible. And I feel like those are life skills that hopefully that will sustain you throughout your entire life. You also even got your master's. So tell me about your education background before we get into your teaching.
After high school, I went to Orange Coast College and later got an associate's in chemistry. And then I went across the street to Vanguard and got a bachelor's in biochemistry. And then I entered the credential program through Vanguard. And then after that, I entered the master's program. So I got a master's in education last May.
That is incredible. Congratulations on your success. That was a lot of studying, I'm sure, right? But well worth it.
Yeah, a whole lot of studying and
Yeah.
writing and research.
I bet. Well, let's talk about how you ended up teaching. So, I understand that a lot of people really relate to your message that you have to share. How have you been able to share these life lessons with students and teach these young people, perhaps? I would think they hear your story and maybe they even act better and treat others with more inclusion.
Yeah, my student teaching was in enhanced mathematics at my former middle school, but there have been students who asked me to know a little bit more about my story with autism and wanting to know more about it. And then other students whom I student taught or subbed were had autism themselves, and I later found out that they felt more strengthened and encouraged because I was there pursuing my passion. So they're encouraged to pursue theirs.
Yeah. And I take a look at you through all the schools where you've been, and you just look so happy. How meaningful was it for you to not only be, a huge influencer on social media, but to be able to help shape young minds?
It's just amazing, and I'm very happy indeed. I've always wanted to help people and to teach people, and I always loved mathematics as well. But I just, it was like a life-changing experience for me to enter through the education field.
hmm Let's go back to Unstoppable. So tell me more about this message that you're sharing through your book. First of all, I think it's incredible to have the dream to write a book, but then to do something about it. And it was your second book. So what is that message that you want people to learn from your book?
Well, my first book is juggling the issues about autism, and Unstoppable is specifically chronicling my journey as a student teacher and my adventures as a substitute teacher. And again, the main message is to, spread awareness and tell people like this is what it's like living with autism, the pros and the cons, as well as to spread encouragement, especially for those who have autism or any disability and their friends and family.
Well, and I know that you've been quoted before to say, you know what, I didn't ask for autism. Anybody else who has it didn't ask for it. Anybody who has any type of, whether it's learning disability or physical disability, didn't ask for it. When you pose that question or that thought to other people, do they almost have an aha moment and say, wow, I can't believe how disrespectful perhaps that they've been to you?
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, because I've spoken that message to like over 10,000 people so far. I do volunteer assemblies, and that's toward the end of what I say is that no one asks for a disability. And also at the same time, don't bottle things up inside. Like if you are holding things in, find someone that you could trust and release it.
I know that you have gotten a lot of positive feedback. How does that make you feel when you have so many people following you on social media, more than 1 million on Instagram? I know your TikTok is going crazy with a lot of followers. How does that make you feel that people are really listening to what you have to say and taking it seriously, it looks to me like?
Yeah, it means the world to me because all I wanted to be and want to be is a help and an encouragement and a motivator. And
hmm
so I view the follower count as the quantity of people whom I'm potentially helping. And I've received a lot of compliments and comments like this makes sense or
hmm
this is well said, but also like comments saying to me that I've been encouraging them and helping them understand their friend or their son or child better.
hmm You mentioned earlier your first book, Juggling the Issue. Can you walk us through more about what that book is about?
Yeah, it's I call it an anthology or a collection of short stories, and
hmm
it took some are the pros of autism, others are the cons of autism, and then some are like the catharses that helped me, like juggling and playing piano and doing artwork, and then I talk more about the Royal Rangers and what that did for me.
I love that you have music in your life. I feel like that's such an amazing thing. And juggling, I mean, who can do that? That's incredible. How did those come into your life? Did your family suggest it and then you realized that it was empowering, or was it always just something in you? How did that come about?
In elementary school is when I started both those skills. And in third grade, I picked up piano playing. And in fifth grade, I picked up juggling. And I kind of did it on my own. I mean, I was inspired by piano because
hmm
of a friend of mine over in Fullerton. And then they actually helped pay for my after school program in third grade. So I took after school program for a keyboard, and everything else was self-taught after that. And then juggling, I just picked up one day in fifth grade.
You just picked it up. That's incredible because it doesn't happen that easily. Did you have to practice a lot?
Yeah, and as I tell people, I started with one.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then you
juggling.
just built
Yeah.
up. How many can you juggle now?
Four comfortably. I was able to get five in the past.
Uh-huh. And do you find that to be, would you consider it a hobby or a distraction? How does that help you?
It's more of a hobby.
Yeah.
It's been a catharsis growing up, but then
Uh-huh.
it opened a lot of doors since sixth grade, and I started to do like talent shows. And nowadays, I use juggling as an analogy. Like if things drop in life, pick it back up and keep going. That's
Mhm.
what I tell students in assemblies and when I substitute.
I know one of your goals in life seems to be to really help people better understand autism. So you went from being a young child with it, going through the tough teenage years when it's tough for anybody, but I would say even more challenging, probably that for you and having to deal with, I'm going to call them jerks because I feel like anybody who says anything to you, that's what they are. We'll just be real honest here. And now as a young man, what do you want people to better understand about autism?
Some of the myths that I've dispelled in the past is some people think we're antisocial, and I know I can't speak for everyone, but
Mhm.
I, for one, desire to socialize. Some people say that we may not sympathize or empathize, but I, for one, empathize, and I know a lot of other people who have autism who could empathize. We just might not be able to know how to express it. And I'm just, I promote disability inclusion and equal opportunity as well.
And then when do you have a support group? Are you able to meet other people who have autism who help you? How does that work? Because you mentioned you do have people who say you've been in the same boat.
Yeah, well, not like a support group directly, but I have a lot of friends from different places that I speak with and get to hang out with.
I think it's really brave for you to be able to get on social media and to have that platform. How did that begin for you? Did it just start out slow? Did you get all your followers overnight? What was that like?
It started over in 2017, and in the summer, I was feeling very low and down, very much thinking, is there anything I could do to contribute? I've already, uh, I had already written my first book, but I was waiting for the agent to get back with me and the publishing process. And I was just wanting to encourage. So I decided to go on YouTube and I started posting my hobbies and piano playing. And then later I posted autism awareness videos, and in 2018, I got Twitter, now X, and Instagram. And then in 2022, thanks to students' encouragements, I went and got TikTok. So,
It's incredible. And you have such a support team there. Does that comfort you?
yeah, it's a camaraderie. Of course, I
Hmm.
admit that it is brave to go on social media. I've
Hmm.
received a small percentage of trolls and people posting negative comments to me, but for the most part, it's been encouraging.
Very good. And you know what? Everybody gets that. We all do. So that's not too big of a shocker. I wanted to put up at least your Instagram. I know you have a lot of, but you're just known as Matthew_Kenslow. That's how they find you on Insta.
Yes.
What is your main message if somebody goes to your page, what are they going to find out about you?
My main niche is autism, but I also post special interests. But I've been posting reels lately specifically about autism. I posted a reel recently about like what is stimming, which is a form of like self-regulation and like repetitive action. And I also posted other reels about encouragements and talking about autism. So those are the things
Hmm.
that they'd expect to find.
Let's talk more about your book because I know that platform has to be very helpful for you to tell people about that. And this book, Unstoppable, I feel like this is for everybody, any age, any walk of life, right? Like we could all learn some of these serious life things that you learned.
Yeah, I believe so. So it's primarily for like aspiring, any profession doesn't have to be teaching, especially for those who have a disability, but then for those who don't as well. Like I hope to encourage them as well.
What is your biggest advice as far as encouragement is concerned, for someone who is trying so hard and just not getting where they want to go?
My advice is don't allow any labels to tear you down or to stop you, like autism, for example. Sometimes we have to learn to go through things and not around things. Sometimes we need patience and it's going to take longer than it has. And I could testify to that. I believe that disability or not, I believe anyone could do whatever they set their heart and mind to do, as long as it's practical and that they're being themselves at the same time, not trying to be other people, because we're all unique.
Oh, that is so important. I just love how you even word things, and it really sinks in with me. And I know that that's why you're so popular, because people really can relate with you. Let's talk a little bit more about Unstoppable. What you want people to get out of this, what you hope that they will learn, because everybody wants to be unstoppable, right?
Right. Again, the purpose is to explain my journey through student teaching and the rigor of it, and that I came from a background. So I talked about like growing up, and I talked about times of being discriminated or teased, but that I never gave up. And like if I could do these things and pursue my passion, what I've always was passionate to do, then so can anybody, I believe, plus more.
Yeah, and it's so important for people to realize what you've been through. How can they find your book?
It's on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. I would put like Unstoppable Matthew Kenslow, because there's a lot of products called Unstoppable, but it
True.
should pop up in the front and or up on top, or it could also be ordered at any library or bookstore.
It's hard to actually pull off writing a book. How did that process start for you, especially with your first one? I feel like the second one might be a little easier, right? You've been there, done that, know how to pull it off.
Yeah, at the start, I wasn't sure if I was going to like royalty publish or self-publish, but I found an agent and he submitted it to royalty publishers. And I think if you put it all together, it was from 2016 to 2019, so it took a few years.
Yeah.
But after I wrote the second one, I just went back to my publisher and asked if he'd be willing to help publish the second book, and he was. I signed a contract. It took like 6 months.
And that's it. And now it's out there to help everybody out. So it seems like you're talking a little bit of substitute teaching in the past. Are you not doing that now?
I am
Oh,
actually.
you
I'm
still
still,
are.
yeah,
Okay, good.
that and tutor and substitute teacher.
Uh-huh. And how meaningful is it to you right now? Just as much as it was in the beginning when you were so excited?
Yeah, I'd say so. I still have the same passion, and when I go back to schools that I've been in over like 25 schools subbing so far in this district. A lot of students are coming to me, remembering me, saying hi to me,
Oh,
and
nice.
then a lot have been excited to see that I was going to be their sub for the day.
I bet it's fun to sub because you get to meet so many different people, right? And you don't get stuck in the same routine all the time. You get to sort of switch it up, you switch schools even.
Yeah, it's a variety, and sometimes I get to teach, and other times I'm just managing. And yeah, it's quite a camaraderie with not just like the students, but also the faculty, the
Mhm.
teachers, the principals. So we're all happy to see each other when we can.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're just really getting a really unique opportunity by doing that. So what's next? Is there a third book in the works that you've even thought about?
I have thought about it. I started out writing a trilogy about a boy with autism, but that agent I talked about suggested I do an autobiographical piece, and that's how Juggling the Issues got started. So I'm not sure if I'll go back to the trilogy, but maybe. In the meantime, I talked to Vanguard University, where I went to 5 days ago. I talked to them. I had a meeting. I expressed my I expressed that I was interested to be an adjunct professor. So maybe starting this fall, I
Mhm.
could do that as well, be an adjunct professor of mathematics.
Oh my goodness, that would be incredible. What a fun, exciting thing for you to have just right there, hopefully at your fingertips, right? You could write a whole book about that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about your family? Are they it sounds to me like you've had a lot of support through your life. Is that what it's been like for you?
Yeah, my entire family, my mom, my grandpa, my aunts, my cousins are all very proud and happy.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. They have to be so proud for you to be a published author times two. Do you have any siblings?
No, but
No?
I wanted some though, but no.
Yeah, you're the only child. Hey, that's good. You get more love, right?
Yeah, there are pros and cons.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. I'm sure that's true. Well, what's going to be happening this year? What's next?
I'm still subbing as substitute teacher, hopefully be a professor as well. And I'm
Uh-huh.
still tutoring, but it's also my goal to go to every school in Orange County public and private, to do assemblies. So I've
Nice.
done, and these are volunteer assemblies. I've done like over 20 schools so far, so over 10,000 students. And these assemblies are about autism awareness and disability awareness, acceptance, and inclusion. And I
Mhm.
keep the students engaged through juggling, sleight of hand, and science. And it's just a wonderful 20, 25 minutes.
What a beautiful thing you're doing in this world. And I feel like you're helping a whole lot of other children, especially young ones who haven't gotten into that I guess mode of where you've been able to be sure of yourself and to be able to speak out for yourself. And I really feel like that could pave the way for so many more people. As we wrap up today, any last minute words of advice that you could give maybe to parents of a child with autism to help them?
Yeah, the advice I have is like what I uh, said earlier about like not giving up, and that disability or not, we could do what we set our heart and mind to do. But for parents specifically, I encourage them to continue to show love and care to the child, advocate for
Mhm.
them early on, teach them to also later advocate for themselves if they're able
Mhm.
to, and just give them love and opportunities.
Yeah, those are all such important things to do. Well, Matthew, it's truly an honor to be able to take time to share your story today. Congratulations again on your success with your books and with everything that you have going on. And I know you're going to land that perfect job. And I hope you're able to keep up that mission of talking to so many students to make a difference in this world. Thanks for your impact.
My pleasure, and thank you so much.
All right. Again, such a pleasure to talk to you, Matthew. And I just want to remind you, Tuesday mornings, 10:30 is always the place to go if you want to join me here for Lunch for the Soul. If you have an idea, maybe you want to be profiled, maybe you have a dramatic story to share. I would love to tell it. You can reach out to me at melissa.wilson@fox.com. And I hope to see you back here, same place, same time next week. I hope you have a beautiful and a very blessed day. Everybody stay warm out there. We'll see you soon.